Everyone, it's Miss S here. How are you today? Very good. I am happy to see you. For today's lesson, we're going to do a fun read aloud. The read aloud is called Louis and Tabitha. They are very different. Okay, different means not the same, but they are still friends. So before we read today, I want you to think of a friend. Think in your brain. A friend. Got it? Good. And now, next question. What makes them your friend? Think in your head. Got it? Good. So, Miss S will share real quick. I'm thinking of my friend, and my friend is a great listener. Anytime I want to say something, or I'm sad or feeling not so happy, they are a great listener. They listen really good. So take some time, think in your brain, who was your friend? Why are they your friend? And next, what I'm going to have you do is think really hard. Does that friend like everything that you do? Do you have the same color? Do you have the same favorite food? Do you have the same favorite sport? Do you like the same TV shows? Everything is the same. No? I thought so. So in the story today, we're really going to be talking about how people can be friends. You can be friends with someone and they don't have to like and be the exact same that you are, okay? So today's lesson, as we read, we're going to think about things that make them the same and things that make them different, things that they like and things that the other one may not like. And this is where the skill compare and contrast comes in. So when we're done reading aloud, we're going to come through and we're going to list some things that makes Louis, Louis, and some things that makes Tabitha, Tabitha, things that make them different. And then we're going to come back and we're going to jot down all the things that are the same about them. So we're going to compare and contrast. Who's ready to read today? I see lots of hands. Looks like we're ready. So Tabitha and Louis, let me share my screen for you. Hold on one second. Louis and Tabitha, they are animals. Okay. Louis and Tabitha. And while I'm pulling this up for you, the quick summary of the story is Louis is a charming alley cat. Tabitha is a sophisticated show cat. They live in two different worlds. Their love thwarted by a thick glass door and by Tabitha's owner. After all, Louis is an outside cat. Tabitha is an inside cat, and that's just the way it is. But these two love-struck kitties will do anything to be together. For Louis, that may mean even risking his own safety to save the life of the cat he loves. Okay, so here we go. Louis and Tabitha.
Louis and Tabitha. Louis was a cat about town. Dashing, Charming, perfectly suave. He lived, unofficially, at the fire station and had, since a daring rescue involving a very small Luis, a very shrill smoke alarm, and a very tall house. His tail still had the scorch marks. Luis liked to go visiting, as society cats do. Sometimes he'd travel in the fire truck. Everywhere he went, Luis was welcomed with open arms and leftovers. One night, after too much catnip and too many sardines, Luis was making his rounds when he took a wrong turn. He climbed a wall and saw Tabitha. Elegant, silky, perfectly sophisticated. Luis stopped. Tabitha stared. It was love. Love from afar. Love under the spotlight of the moon. Love thwarted by a thick glass door. And by Tabitha's owner. "Shoo!" she cried. "Shoo!" Luis shooed, but he wasn't done. The next morning, Tabitha stared out at a vast bouquet of sardine tins and twine and feathers. Luis smiled. Tabitha smiled. Tabitha's owner did not smile. "Shoo!" she cried. "Shoo!" Luis shooed, but he wasn't done. The next day, he brought mice. The day after that, he brought pigeons. And after that, balloons, which is not easy when you're a cat. Each day, Luis and Tabitha stared into each other's eyes until Tabitha's owner chased Luis away. Luis needed advice. He asked his friends over a bowl of cream. "You're an outside cat," said Mr. Pickles. "And you need to be an inside cat," said Socks. "Or at least look like one," said One-Eyed Winky. Luis had an idea. The next day, Luis showed up at Tabitha's door once more. Luis smiled. Tabitha smiled. Tabitha's owner clutched her hands to her heart and opened the door. Luis was inside, where everything was soft and warm and scratchable. And Luis and Tabitha were inseparable. Until the doorbell rang. "Is this him?" "That's him." And Luis and Tabitha were thwarted by the thick glass door once more. Luis had a new home and a new name and a new owner. And all the sardines and cheese he could eat. But all he wanted was Tabitha. And all Tabitha wanted was Luis. It was love. Love from afar. Love from far too afar. Then the doorbell rang. "Is this him?" "That's him." And that's not him. And Luis was a cat about town once more. Luis needed advice. He asked his friends over a bowl of cream. "You're an outside cat," said Mr. Pickles. "And she's an inside cat," said Socks. "And that's just the way it is," said One-Eyed Winky. So Luis went visiting, as society cats do. He went visiting all across town. Everywhere he went, he was welcomed with open arms and leftovers. And everywhere he went, Tabitha wasn't. Until one night, Luis was riding in the fire truck when his tail began to tingle. Luis saw Tabitha, elegant, silky, perfectly sophisticated, and in terrible danger. The sirens began to wail. "Everyone, outside!" cried the firefighters. The crowd was a cloud of arms and shrieks as it gathered on the corner. But there was no Tabitha. And suddenly, there was no Luis. The crowd waited and worried and fretted. Finally, the gray parted, and from it emerged Luis and Tabitha, leading Tabitha's owner. The crowd cheered. Tabitha's owner plopped down on the curb and clutched her hands to her heart. She looked at Luis and Tabitha and smiled. The cat show judge placed a blue ribbon on Tabitha, and the firefighters placed a gold medal on Luis and declared them both perfectly heroic. Luis was back inside, where everything was soft and warm and scratchable. And Luis and Tabitha were inseparable.
So I hope you enjoyed that book today. And I hope that you were thinking in your brain all the details that made Luis Luis and Tabitha Tabitha. And in part 2 of our lesson, we're going to review the story and come back and think about different details about each of our characters and then how they were the same. So I hope you enjoyed our part 1 of our compare and contrast lesson, Luis and Tabitha. And I will see you next week on our next lesson. Bye.